The top stories. Q8 sets out patients' rights. BWU bans wukking up on May Day parade. And Windies skipper expects to beat England. Welcome to Nation News for Thursday, April the 9th, 2015.
No matter where you are in the world, at home or abroad, Nation News keeps you connected with what's happening in Barbados through our website, video newscast, and online e-papers. So stay connected with Nation News. Your news, your time, your way.
The rights of patients of the Queen Elizabeth Hospital have been spelled out in a newly released handbook. Director of Medical Services Anthony Harris says the Charter of the Rights of Patients should give an assurance to people using the hospital services that their rights are taken seriously. The Charter details 8 basic patient rights, including access to care, privacy, and confidentiality. It was launched on Wednesday night during the hospital's sparsely attended public accountability session for, well, the public. Also speaking was Q8 CEO Dexter James, who called for an efficiency audit and an actuarial study to be conducted on the entire healthcare system to pinpoint inefficiencies, and that before any new financing model is put in place. Now, if you're planning to participate in the May Day parade, the BWU has some serious advice for you. It is not a carnival, so no wukking up. You hear? Union spokesman Gabby Scott says there will be no alcohol during the parade either. No wukking up, no booze. Speaking during a planning meeting, Mr. Scott warned that participants who defaced the T-shirts of participating companies or otherwise misbehaved would be ejected from the parade. He said that the parade, which starts at the Garrison Savannah and ends at Browns Beach, should be a sober and dignified salute to workers. At the beach, one surmises the party can then begin. A section of Salters Road, St. George, was impassable for several hours on Wednesday after a cane truck and another commercial vehicle collided. The cane truck was driven by Philip Graves of Thorpe's Cottage, St. George. He complained of injuries to his left leg and the left shoulder. Tyrone Franklin, who was the driver of the other vehicle, received injuries to both legs. Internet usage in Barbados has expanded rapidly since the turn of the century, according to figures we have seen. Internet penetration grew from just 2% of the population in 2000 having access to 75% in 2013. In 2000, Barbados had just 6,000 internet users, and by 2013, the number had grown to just more than 217,000. What's more, aggressive investment has seen average available internet access speeds grow from 6 megabytes in 2009 to 320 in 2015. That's some growth in building a digital infrastructure. The figures were provided in an article for Business Barbados by Paul Marshall, the Managing Director of J.P. Marshall Associates, a Barbadian-owned IT firm with offices in Barbados, Trinidad, and Canada. Truckers and haulers want the Sanitation Service Authority to reduce the fee to be charged for sending waste to the Sustainable Recycling Centre at Vaucluse. They say the $25 tipping fee, as it's called, is too onerous. They restated their objections at a public meeting with representatives of the SSA and the Ministries of Health and the Environment. One objector said the levy could lead to more illegal dumping.
I fully acknowledge that we need the money, fully acknowledge it. But in my view, I feel that this is a system that will encourage the dumping of solid waste all over the island. And having been directly involved in it, as I told you, being the person who started the drainage thing, I sincerely beg of you all to think of another way of collecting the money. Correct. Purely because of the fact that if people start to dump, and they will, yes, we are back in trouble.
University Administrator Professor Andrew Downs has expressed concern about the high number of children leaving school without any kind of certification. In a brief interview with Nation News, UWI's head of planning and development called for changes to the education system, including the school curriculum and the 11 plus exam.
Essentially, you have a system which says that you have to do an examination at a certain age in order to be sorted into the secondary school system. And the question arises as to whether people are up to speed to do that examination at that age level. That is, people learn at different levels, at different rates, and they absorb information differently. And the question is, if you have a system that says at 11 all of us must do, and from there you then sort, it might be a problem. So you need therefore to find an arrangement which will allow you to recognize or reflect different abilities of persons.
In sport, Dennis Ramden is confident that his West Indies team can beat England in the Test series, which starts in Antigua next week, although he expects a tough fight. Ramden says his bowlers will have to exploit the conditions.
You know, this series is going to be set up by big scores, and as well as, you know, I would say hour and a half of aggressive bowling where you can pick up a couple wickets and a bowler can change a match for us. So it can go either way, but hopefully it can be on our side where like Jaron Taylor, Kemar Rhodes, spinners, Ben, Bishu, Pramal, all those guys who have the experience bowling in these conditions can exploit it and do well for ourselves.
So you think it's an advantage then having experienced bowlers who've played, you know, obviously played a lot of cricket in the Caribbean and knowing how to bowl on these surfaces?
Of course, you know, when you go away and you play against the opposition, they put you in their conditions and they exploit it quite well. So I can't see why our bowlers can do it while we're at home.
And finally, Joel Berger and Ashley King are getting married. Get it? The Berger and King couple, Burger King. And guess what? The restaurant chain has offered to pay the wedding expenses for the Illinois couple. A Burger King brand spokesman says the company felt an overwhelming urge to help the happy couple celebrate their July 17th marriage. And that's Nation News for Thursday. For more, log on to nationnews.com as well as YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. And remember to pick up your Weekend Nation on Friday or subscribe to our e-paper.